We're at my restaurant, Korean Steakhouse. We're gonna be making kalbi. It is super special to me. I grew up eating it. The smell of it on the grill brings back a lot of my memories from my childhood. I love eating kalbi after my workout. It's super clean, super delicious, flavor bomb, and everybody's gonna love this. My name is David Shim, executive chef at Korean Steakhouse. I love to cook and work out. I think healthy food should be delicious and exciting. Here's one of my favorite post-workout meals, marinated short ribs with seasonal banchan. Nutritious food for me is fuel to the body. You know, restaurant business is such a hard business, long hours, that if you don't fuel yourself correctly, you will eventually burn out and you won't be able to have the energy to continue. And I think, you know, especially working at a restaurant, there's so much opportunity and there's so much access to great food that, you know, I think only way for me to continue to do this is to fuel myself with great nutritious food. All right, let's start going. So we're gonna be making kalbi. It is super special to me. You can probably purchase this at your local butcher shop if there is one as a boneless short rib. It usually comes with two sides that needs to be cleaned. And what we're gonna do is take off the first layer of fat and silver skin, and then we're gonna flip it over, do the same. My first job was at Gramercy Tavern, which was a very hard job, but I learned so much from it. After that, I worked at a place called Veritas, which was across the street. After Veritas, I was fortunate enough to work at Mr. Robuchan's restaurant, Four Seasons, which I learned so much from. After the Four Seasons, I was lucky enough to open up a Korean barbecue restaurant called Crystal Belly. I learned what I needed to become successful today from there, and then cook, and here I am. And once the meat is cleaned, we're gonna cut it into 3. And then from here, we're gonna butterfly. This is where you wanna be a little bit careful. Keep it on the edge of your cutting board, and you're just gonna try to make one clean cut. We'll do the same thing here. Press down. And one more time. Once the meat is cut, butterflied, I think this is the most technical part of the knife cut, but it's very simple. I can give you some tricks. Make sure you hold your knife by the bolster, and what you're gonna do is on a diagonal, cut without cutting all the way through, right? So then you're gonna flip it around. Do the same, but do it straight. Make sure you don't cut all the way through. And if you do it the right way, you should have a little accordion-like short rib for you to marinate. All right, so since the meat is done, we're gonna be making the marinade. The key ingredient to our marinade is, of course, the Asian pear. It breaks down the protein and it also adds a sweetness to the marinade. And I also have orange, garlic, onion, and ginger. And we're gonna use some soy sauce and water to blend this. And you just wanna make sure that you blend this as fine as possible so that there's no big chunks in your marinade. I haven't always been a healthy eater, but as a kid, you know, your diet is heavily based upon what you're being fed. And I think playing soccer, I think there was one point in my life in Brazil where every meal was very strict in following their diet, which consists of rice and beans, protein, some sort of greens and salads. And I was eating healthy, building muscles so I can continue to play soccer. And I feel like right now we have so much access to food that eating healthy is like, I don't even think about it. You just put together things not because you think it's right. I think it's also because we're supplying the customers that are coming into the restaurant with the most nutritious food that tastes the best. And with all that said, I think, you know, on the weekends, I still have a very guilty pleasure, which is eating the biggest bowl of instant ramen that I can find. So after mixing all your ingredients in, and you let it sit for a little bit so that the bubbles kind of die down. If you strain it, it'll become a clear marinade as so, which you can use to marinate your beef. Fitness to me is more of a lifestyle. You kind of have to live it. I think for me, working in the restaurant business, it's very physically demanding, mentally demanding as well. And I think having the right lifestyle really helps you get through your day-to-day business. I push myself to the limits at work. I try to push myself to the limits when I'm playing soccer, tennis, or running. And it really helped me to get to where I am. All right, so we're gonna let this sit, let it marinate. I'm gonna try to sneak in a run at the park, and we'll be back. Let's go. We're at Central Park, we're about to go running. I'm training for the marathon, co-captaining the City Harvest team with some of our people from Coat, and that's about it. Let's get going. My current running training looks like at least 2 to 3 good runs every week, anywhere from 4 to 6 miles, going into 8 to 12. And if I can, I try to sneak away from the restaurant, maybe an hour, calling in my lunch break, trying to get my core workouts done at the local gyms that's around the restaurant. Fitness has always been a big part of my life as I was growing up. Originally wanted to become a professional soccer player. I was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to go to try out in Brazil. I spent about 5.5 months in Brazil, didn't make it, and I decided to come back. I was looking to go back to school. I wasn't sure what and where I wanted to go. Took a tour at the CIA, which is a Culinary Institute of America. The first class that I took was Skills 1, and the chef had a clock, and he clicked on it, and everybody started chopping away, and I was like, dude, this feels like sports. I think I can really get into this field. It's such a fast-paced environment, and with a lot of competitiveness, you can't do it yourself, and it's a team sport, and that's why I love cooking. All right, just finished my run at the Central Park. We're here at Union Square Market. I love coming here, super close to Korean Steakhouse. Gives me a lot of inspiration. I saw cauliflower, Romanesco. I think they're gonna go great for our pickle recipe. Let's go check it out. When I was a kid, going out to eat kalbi was not an easy thing to do. It was a very expensive meal and it was a perk. There was a joke, running joke amongst my friends as a kid. It's like you walk out of the restaurant eating kalbi, you have a scent of kalbi with you. And you go around saying that, hey, I was eating kalbi, and it was a bragging right. And I still love it. I still love the smell of it. And it just brings back so much memories. I'm back at Korean Steakhouse, ready to have my post-workout meal. Let's do it. Korean barbecue, some of you might be familiar. We do have a grill on every table, and it is meant to be grilled at the table, served hot every piece, instead of having a large steak that might get cold as it sits. And it's a very fun and exciting environment to eat. As you guys will see in a little bit, there's gonna be fire, flame, meat grilling. I hope that you guys can smell some of this that's happening over here, but I'm gonna enjoy it all by myself. Short rib down. Oh yeah. Cook this on a high heat, but do be careful that the marinade will burn before the meat is fully cooked, so you just kind of want to move it around. And if you're cooking at home and if you have access to a grill outside, you can cook it as I am here, making sure that you're using your hot spots. If not, you can use your saute pan at home. But for the saute pan, you have to move it around a little bit more because the marinade will reduce and it will start to burn. Just gotta move it to the places where it's burning slightly so that you get to deglaze this. And a real cool tip, you can actually cook this on your air fryer. But I suggest you start slowly so that you're kind of cooking the meat through, and as the meat is almost done, crank it up so that you get the caramelization of the sauce and the marinade. To make healthy food taste good, I think you really have to understand the ingredients. Every ingredient, whether it be cucumber, cauliflower, cabbage, or beef, have all different characteristics. Being able to really speak to it, making sure that you're getting the flavor out of it is key. Hence, some of our items here are pickled instead of cooked, because I think by pickling it really introduces a new texture and new flavor. We have great quality piece of meat, and short rib usually cannot be cooked this quick. Many cultures and many restaurants cook short rib as a braise or a long cooking temp item, whereas we can probably finish cooking our short ribs in 5 minutes. And I think being able to understand and sourcing your right ingredients, the quality ingredients, really make sure that you get a good nutrition, great taste, and something that everybody loves. So our marinated short rib is done. It's got nice caramelization, burnt ends, which I love. I'm in the mood for a lettuce wrap, so I'm gonna grab a piece of lettuce, maybe 2 pieces of steaks. Our steak sauce, which is called samjang, which is on fire. Then I'm gonna pick a cucumber. And you can eat this with rice, you can eat this with kimchi and different pickles, but this is my combination for now. The short rib is super rich, it's got great flavor. The lettuce gives a nice texture. What really comes through is the pickles. It's acidic, it's sweet, it's got a great texture to it. Makes me want to have another bite, you know. Nothing's rich, it cuts through, and everything works so well. So, we played soccer. I showed you how to cook my favorite post-workout meal. When I enjoyed this plate, I'm gonna head home to my wife and 3 dogs. See you later.